And welcome back to KTN Newsdesk. I'm Michael Karanja. Now, 3 weeks ago, we had the CEO of Twin Pine who was telling us about the upsurge of mobile advertising. And today in studio, I'm actually joined by one of the persons I've always wanted to meet for a very long time, Patricia Mbache Masharia, who's the CEO of Game Changer, who's going to tell us something a bit about experiential marketing. Patricia, just to get things starting, we must crawl before we walk. What exactly is experiential marketing?
Experiential marketing is using the live occasion to engage brands to the people that matter the most to them. Yeah. So what happens, you are able to engage your target audience and get them to touch, get them to feel, get them to taste, get them to experience your brand holistically. And Confucius said 500 BC, I see, I forget, I hear, I remember, I do, I understand. So experiential marketing helps you do something with the brand. Get it in your hand and touch it and feel it and smell it and do something with it. And once you've done that, you start being engaged with it.
Yeah. But when we just look at normal advertising, I guess we've gotten stuck to where we are. TV advertising, radio advertisements, newspaper advertisements. How are you able to tell the success of an experiential kind of marketing activation on one particular product that you're actually selling to Kenyans?
Experiential has actually become, it's the oldest form of marketing. Yeah. And the funny thing is research has been done and it's been found that Yanni Hofmeyer, he's a marketing expert in South Africa, actually said it very well. He said people remember brands that they've engaged with. So if you are doing an advertisement, the person who's engaged with your brand is who will see your advertisement on TV. Yeah. And just look at it. What are the billboards that you see as you drive down the highway? There's so many of them. But the fact that you've engaged with maybe a KTN brand experience will make you see KTN. And that's how you know the power of experiential. Because what it is, it's a face-to-face live engagement. So you can measure it and you are sure that the people who have come across it have in one way or the other seen this experience and been immersed in it. And it's becoming like the most measurable, most, you know, in a world where you're able to fast forward your TV, in a world where you're able to skip your ad on the online environment, it becomes experiential that lands you the connection that you require for you to be able to engage consumers and get them to reappraise your product.
Right. Just look at the Kenyan market. Obviously, companies are in competition one way or the other. But just looking at the kind of efforts that they're making in terms of just putting their brands out there, not in any particular order, what are some of the brands that come to your mind of people who have actually put time and effort into putting their products out there to consumers?
Coca Cola has done it very well. Yeah. And it was proven that whatever they do, it works. Because there was, I think, a taste test that was done previously with one of their competitors doing a sip test, where you were given 2 unbranded cups and you then decided which one it is that you enjoyed the taste the most. Then later on, neuroscientists from Baylor University then did this other test where they then told you each of those cups what they were. And guess what? The people who were told that they were drinking Coca-Cola immediately changed and said they loved it better than the other brand. And that was the power of all the experiences that Coca-Cola has built around its brand. So it's what the music is about it. The Santa Claus and the truck, the caravan at Christmas, and your childhood memories of you running to the kiosk and running back with a bottle of Coke and having a good time. So it's all about getting someone's emotions. Absolutely. And the funny thing is, emotions trounce the rational mind. So in this case, they'll do the experiment where you don't know what it is and you'd prefer the competitor brand. But when you're told what it is, you immediately switch.
And no, that's not all.
Absolutely. And neuroscience would then test it and they would see that actually you're more engaged by this other brand once you know what it is in another part of your brain that is linking straight into the emotional. So actually emotional is what drives anything. Think about how you buy your car. Yep. I'm sure you don't buy it from a functional perspective.
No, it's stopped being the car in front is always a Toyota.
Absolutely. So what we do, we try and put the brand in your hand, in your world. We try and engage you in things that are emotionally connecting to you. And once we do that, suddenly you're reappraising this brand and thinking, you know what? I like this brand, I want to have it. And that's what the magic of experiential is. And if you do it very well, if you tell the stories very well, if you do a unique brand experience, look at Apple. It's a unique brand experience. Yeah. And Harley Davidson, it's a unique brand experience. And people line up around the block, so it stops being about price. Because you know what, you can drop your price today and someone else drops their price tomorrow. But if you create a brand experience that's amazing, that's authentic, that's out of this world, people line up around the block to buy your product that is probably 10 times more costly than your competitor. The power of brand experience is amazing.
Just talking about brand experience, just looking at Kenya's current situation, we have 47 different competing counties. When it comes to people like county governments, how do you actually approach them to tell them, you know, it doesn't have to be one shoe fits all. Like if everyone wants to try and do what Machakos has done, it might perhaps not work. So, but what are some of the perhaps unique attributes that counties or other people should look at just to have that similar connection and, you know, in terms of trying to get investment into their counties?
I think the first thing they need to do is figure out what their voice is, their authentic voice, which I think is what Machakos has done. So when we did the Brazil to Macha partnership engagement between DSTV, Coca Cola, Sony, and the other partners that had come on board, Go TV, Supersport. It was because it was so easy to go in and call them up and say, we want to do this activity in your county, can you welcome us? They're instant, they're quick. The Minister of Culture was already on the phone to us, coming for a meeting. They had the venue for it. The governor was available to attend the event, and he was available to do all the publicity before that. So it's about, first of all, saying, what are we all about? And then setting the groundwork so that you're able to, because a county is a brand. It's a recognizable entity that people are able to engage with and able to call by name. And if I have an enjoyable experience with this county, I promise you, I will spread the word, because 68% of people believe people like them. So if somebody is saying that place is fantastic, other people are curious to go and see what is it about that place. So counties need to identify what is our voice, who are we, and they also need to say what do we need to do to lay the groundwork, and how do we get people to taste our experience.
Just looking at what's happening all around, does this then mean that people are actually going to have to get out of their comfort zone and actually put a little more in just ensuring their brand is positioned correctly?
Look at this. If you did not advertise your brand within 30 days or 3 months, nobody would be remembering it. You need to engage your consumer. You cannot sit back and say, you know what, I put my brand out there, people will just buy it. This doesn't happen. This is why brands like Coca Cola are forever advertising, year in, year out, hundreds of years later. And why? Because you need to reach out to your consumer.
All right, Patricia, I'll have to stop you there. But thank you very much for coming into studio.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
That has been Patricia Mbachi Mashawe, just giving us the emotional side about putting your brand in a place where most consumers will be able to interact with you. And I'll hand you over back to Ian Wafula with some interesting news from the Congo.